Hey guys, Bill Weaver here, and I'd like to welcome you to the very first installment of the Out on the Road show with Bill Weaver. And what my show's going to be about is just about a little bit of everything. What in the world ever comes up. Of course, it'll be a lot of music and trucking focus to it. We look forward to it, and we look forward to any comments if you guys have of things we can add, subtract. Some of the music's going to suck because I just like a lot of old songs that I can't really play all that good or sing all that good, but I dearly love them, and they've been huge influences. And who knows, we might talk about some people that suck, like Taylor Barker, for instance. And hey, Taylor, if you're watching this, you're welcome to retaliate. So Taylor's a good friend. We're always picking on each other. But now we're going to talk about just everything. If you have a hobby or a habit, something you'd like to have a show about or talk about, then throw it on us. Who knows? Maybe we'll put a show together and make you a big old radio video star. Who knows? That being said, I'm going to get this started. I'm sitting up here at Granite City, Illinois right now. I got to go unload at 7 p.m. tonight. So I'm doing this live from my truck this time, and just going to play some music, and who knows, might tell a few stories and tell a few lies, jokes, whatever. I'm going to open this up and start it with a song that was my dad's favorite song, and we had his funeral 25 years ago today, and still miss him horribly every day. And this is an old Bobby Bear classic called Streets of Baltimore. Well, I left the farm to take my woman where she longed to be. We left our kin and all our friends back there in Tennessee. Then I bought these one-way tickets she had often begged me for, and they took us to the streets of Baltimore. I got myself a factory job. I ran an old machine. We bought a little cottage in some neighborhood serene. But every night when I'd come home, with every muscle sore, she'd drag me through the streets of Baltimore. Her face filled up with laughter when she saw those city lights. She said the prettiest place on earth was Baltimore at night. Well, a man feels proud to give his woman what she's longing for, and I kinda like the streets of Baltimore. Well, I kinda like that city, but it didn't take long to see. I know my baby liked the bright lights a whole lot more than she loved me. So I'm a-heading back home on that same train that brought me here before, while my baby walks the streets of Baltimore. Little old Bobby Bear classic. I hope I done that some justice there. Certainly not as good as him. Y'all pardon me for drinking so much there. My throat is really super dry. Play some oddball stuff here from some of my best heroes and influences. I like the way your sparkling earrings lay gets your skin so brown. I wanna sleep with you in the desert tonight, with a billion stars all around, and I get a peaceful, easy feeling. I know you won't let me down, 'cause I'm already standing on the ground. Well, I found out a long time ago what a woman can do to your soul. But she can't take you anywhere you don't already know how to go. And I get a peaceful, easy feeling, and I know you won't let me down, 'cause I'm already standing on the ground. Well, I get a feeling I should know you as a lover and a friend, but this voice keeps whispering in my other ear, tells me I may never see you again. And I get a peaceful, easy feeling, and I know you won't let me down, 'cause I'm already standing. Yes, I'm already standing. Yes, I'm already standing on the ground. On the ground. Little Eagles classic. To me, the absolute best group that ever existed. And I just don't see anybody ever changing my mind on that, or anybody ever topping it. Along with other great heroes of mine, the Allman Brothers, Marshall Tucker. Trying to think of a good one to play for y'all here. Play one of my old favorites here, and I ain't even going to tell you who done this because they don't even need to be named. Everybody just knows. Well, I ain't ever been with a woman long enough for my boots to get old. But we've been together so long now that both need re-sold. If I'd ever settle down, you'd be my kind. Well, it's a good time for me to head on down the line. Heard it in a love song. Heard it in a love song. Heard it in a love song. Can't be wrong. Start dreaming about tomorrow's day. If said that I love you, even though it's so, with a couple of bags, I'll head on down the road. Heard it in a love song. song can't be wrong. Well, I'm gonna be leaving at the break of dawn. I wish you could come, but I don't need no woman tagging along. Never said that I love you, even though it's so. Grab a couple bags and head on down the road. I heard it in a love song. Heard it in a love song. Heard it in a love song. Can't be wrong. Or something like that, just goofing around a little bit. Gotta love Marshall Tucker, gotta love Allman Brothers. Those guys, man, they had the sound back in the day. A couple of the hugest influences on me ever, because they could just break out. It's like, you know, that song there when they come into it, that flute intro. It's just absolutely incredible. And they done things musically that were borderlining on illegal by the laws of music, and they made sound like Skinner. So many of those guys, especially the old Southern rock heroes, that are great heroes of mine. And man, I could sit here all day and just play old songs, and I suck on a lot of them. But you know what? We're just having fun here. We're not here for high quality sound. If I was, I'd have a studio set up in here and somebody else playing and singing, and I'd be drinking a beer and watching them. I'm gonna do one of my favorite old songs. It's a Dean Dillon penned song that George Strait done, and it's just about a musician song to his wife, and I want to send this out as a special dedication to my beautiful Carol Ann. It's called The Only Thing That I Have Left. Some people claim I'm one of those guys the blessings in life overlook. Sometimes I feel like the tattered, torn pages of some old paperback book. With all the places I've played and all the money I made, I still have nothing to show. And the only thing I have left in the whole wide world is you. Well, you put your whole life into something you love and never get that one big break. It'll take you out of those backstreet bars and put you on the interstate. About 1,000,000 tears and 1,000,000 beers have just about washed me up. And the only thing I have left in the whole wide world is you. Well, I gave it all I had every night for all these years, pouring out my soul, it was gone. Well, I've spread myself so thin, I'm just barely hanging on. But tonight I'm with you, and you can carry me through, just loving me. And the only thing I have left in the whole wide world is you. Yes, the only thing I have left in the whole wide world is you. straight classic. You know, some of my favorite memories, I guess, as a child and what got me into music was coming up in the 70s was the Glenn Campbell show was on. Hee Haw was huge. You know, everybody watched Hee Haw as a family. And I think music for me brings back a lot of those memories. Mom and Dad were alive, Grandma and Grandpa's were all alive, and all your aunts and uncles were alive, and everybody'd get together, and we'd watch all them old shows together. And I'd watch Hee Haw and see Roy Clark and Buck Owens getting down on them guitars and banjos and having them big old fun time. Porter Wagner would be wearing them nudie suits with the rhinestones all over them. And as a little boy, I always dreamed of having one of them Porter Wagner style nudie suits. I thought that was just the coolest thing ever. And one of these days before I die, I'm going to have one of them suits, or at least the jacket. And I think I'd just come out here and drive this truck around wearing the damn thing if I had it. So, but a lot of good hours. The family sitting around the TV, and all the family would get together on Sundays and Saturdays and Sundays. And there used to be a show called Classic Country that would come on about 3 o'clock on Sunday mornings. And one of my most cherished memories, my dad and I would get up, and wouldn't be no lights on in the house, but we would watch that show. It had old Farron Young, Webb Pierce, all the old heroes on it, Marty Robbins, and it was a bunch of old Grand Ole Opry footage, pretty much is what it was. And we both dearly loved that, and we'd get up and watch that, and then Zane Grey Theater and the Lone Ranger, and boy, if I'd have known then, at that time, how valuable those memories would be to me later, I would have cherished them a whole lot more at the time. And that stuff, those artists all influenced my writing and my playing, and something I'll never stop doing. I just love it that much. So that being said, I'm going to play one that has been a big hit for us. We've sold about 38,000 copies of this song, and it was written for my buddies Jerry Novak and Chuck Pruitt, who are bull haulers, and they said, "Won't you write us a song?" And we was talking on the phone about it, and I asked Chuck Pruitt, I said, "What's the I couldn't get nothing for an idea to open the song with." And I said, "What's the first thing you do whenever you get a load of them bad boys on?" And he said, "Well, I take my boots off and throw them in the side box of my trucks. Of course, you don't want a bunch of cow manure and mud up there in the truck." So him and Jerry both keep very nice equipment. And I thought, well, hell, that don't rhyme with nothing. So I come up the line, he wipes off his feet and climbs in the seat of a big old W9, which is what Chuck drives. So that's where it all started. And it wound up something like this. Well, he wipes off his feet and climbs in the seat of a big old W9. Any bull holler knows you gotta keep the doors closed just to get them there on time. He's got a limp when he walks, kinda stern when he talks. Who he is ain't hard to tell. He's got a cowboy hat that's been to hell and back, and he keeps one foot on the rail. He's a high baller, an old bull holler, no time for running slow. Kinda ain't got a whole lot of patience, and he needs to shine that chrome. He'll try to catch a few minutes sleep till he hears the cattle calling. But it's just what he does, it runs in his blood. Bull hauling. He's got a girl that he loves down in Abilene, but he just don't have the time. He'll stop for some fuel for his truck and body, then head it on down the line. He's got his eye on her and a piece of land where they just might make a home. but they know damn well in no time he'll be long for the open road. He's a high baller, an old bull holler, no time for running slow. His cattle ain't got a whole lot of patience and he needs to shine that chrome. We'll try to catch a few minutes sleep till he hears the cattle calling. But it's just what he does that runs in his blood. Bull hauling. Bull hauling. Or something like that. Probably sounds a little bit better on the CD with all the electrified guitars and drums. Wet hot coffee is going down good this morning. I'd like to give a shout out, y'all might be seeing this backwards on there, to Jack's Chrome Shop. Dave Coleman up there is the one that's he's put in a lot of diligent work into the chrome and steel site, and what we're trying to do with this, we want to keep a heavy human interest factor, health factor, to where we've got just about any kind of content that you want to see on here at any given time. You can watch different shows, and a lot of really good stuff coming down the pike. We just we're working on it, and none of us are used to doing this in any certain format, so it'll just get better as it goes along, because you guys are learning right along with us. And any tips or suggestions, you're very welcome to share with us. So we would be honored to hear anything you have to say about chrome and steel and what you'd like to see out of it, because we want this to be your network. Talk about my favorite influences in music. My God, where to start would be the question. Number one would be Buddy Holly and Waylon Jennings. Just absolutely hands down over everybody. Buddy Holly died on February 30, 1959, and he was Waylon was actually supposed to have been on that plane with him, and Waylon Jennings was playing bass for Buddy Holly at that time, not playing lead guitar like everybody says. He was playing bass because Holly's bass player had quit, and Waylon gave up his seat to J.P. Richardson, the Big Bopper, because he was sick and he needed to fly on into Fargo and get some rest and see a doctor. And Tommy Alsop was supposed to have been on that plane, another great Texas artist. And he and Richie Valens flipped a $50 coin for that seat, because Richie had asked Tommy Alsop many times during the night if he could have his seat on the plane, and Tommy didn't want to give it up. And they finally just flipped a coin for it, and as fate would have it, the plane crashed, and Richie Valens, Buddy Holly, and J.P. Richardson all died in that fatal plane crash. And it's a lot of weird circumstances and coincidence surrounding that, but had things that went the way they would have went, we'd have lost Tommy Alsop and Waylon Jennings. And interesting footnote to this, Tommy Alsop had give Buddy Holly his wallet because they were taking the bus on and going to meet them at the show, because Tommy had a registered letter he needed picked up, and Buddy Holly said, well, I'll need your ID to pick up a registered letter for you that his mom had sent him. And he just handed him his whole wallet, and he said, I'll just get it from you, when we get to the show. And as it turns out, they found 4 bodies, the pilot and the 3 musicians killed in that crash, and they found 5 wallets and IDs. So when the initial news reports come out on it, they announced Tommy Alsop as one of the deceased in that crash, which, as it turned out, thank God, was not true, because he added a lot of flavor to music over the years, and he and Waylon both were drastically impacted by that crash. And Buddy Holly was only 22 years old, and to this day they're still yet releasing Buddy Holly songs, and he just wrote all the time. And probably the hugest influence on me in the world is Mr. Buddy Holly. And then Waylon would come in a close second. So I'd say Buddy Holly on the writing and Waylon Jennings on the style. And see if we can't give you a little flavor of his. I might screw this up. It's been a long time since I played it. If you knew Peggy Sue, then you'd know why I feel blue about Peggy, my Peggy Sue. Oh, well, I love you, gal, and I need you, Peggy Sue. Well, I love you, Peggy Sue, with a love so rare and true, my Peggy Sue. Well, I love you, gal, I need you, Peggy Sue. Peggy Sue, Peggy Sue, pretty, 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 pretty Peggy Sue, oh Peggy, my Peggy Sue. Well, I love you, gal, I need you, Peggy Sue. Well, I love you, gal, and I need you, Peggy Sue. Little old Buddy Holly classic. Still rumored to this day that he was the first man in Lubbock, Texas to have a Fender Stratocaster guitar, which would later be stolen at a show. Don't think they ever located that guitar, but my God, wherever it's at, it's probably wound up in 100 pawn shops over the years. And if somebody only knew the treasure they had, and get it back to Maria Elena Holly, Buddy's wife, because it's by all rights hers. But he was a huge influence on Waylon's music on down the road, as you can tell in any of Waylon's songs. Same old tune, fiddle and guitar. Where do we take it from here? Rhinestone suits and new shiny cars. Well, it's been the same way for years. We need a change. Well, somebody told me when I came to Nashville, son, you finally got it made. Hey, Hank made a hit. We'll all see that you will, but I don't think Hank done it this way. No, I don't think Hank done it this way. 10 years on the road, making one-night stands, speeding my young life away. Tell me one more time just so I'll understand. Are you sure Hank done it this way? Did old Hank really do it this way? Lord, I've seen the world with a 5-piece band, looking at the backside of me, singing my songs, one of his now and then. But I don't think Hank done it this way. Did old Hank really do it this way? A little bit hard to do that in a big truck with just an acoustic guitar, because he actually had some wah-wah behind that in the original recording, because that song's only 2 chords. Waylon always had a way to flavor him up. He could play a 3-chord song and you'd think he was playing 23 chords. of some of my other huge influences. Gary Stewart, Gene Watson. Gene Watson, to this day, he's still out there touring and singing, and my God, what an artist. Nobody in the world will ever top him. There might be some that's up there fairly equal, but nobody will ever top Gene Watson. And if I've got one artist that's out there floating around right now that I could walk up and shake their hand, it would be an honor to me, a huge honor, to meet Mr. Gene Watson and thank him for his years of awesome music. We'll just do an old Gene Watson classic here. Well, there's a new car in the driveway, and there's some money I don't need, and there's a pickup, it's in the backyard, that no one likes but me. We've already raised the children, why in no time they'll be grown. So honey, let's give it up or get it on. Well, I can't say this life I've shared with you has been anything but good. And if I could find the love we had, somehow God knows I would. But I guess I'm like that pickup truck, I've been drove too hard too long. So honey, let's give it up or get it on. Well, I've been pulling the solo so long, I'm almost out of track. But if I could find the love we had, I'd love to bring it back. But I guess I'm like my pickup truck, I've been drove too hard too long. So honey, let's give it up or get it on. Hey honey, let's give it up or get it on. Or something like that, a little old Gene Watson classic called Let's Give It Up or Get It On. Which brings me to another huge influence of mine. Two of them actually. And we're going to do both of them in one song. Number one being Mr. Merle Haggard, and his good friend forever, Mr. Willie Nelson. And they cut an old Townes Van Zandt song called Poncho and Lefty. And everybody knows that song is a Haggard and Willie Nelson song, but it's originally Townes Van Zandt had it recorded. And I did not know this until Carol Ann and I got together. She's a huge Emmylou Harris fan. Emmylou had recorded this song and put it on an album. And that's where Merle Haggard and Willie Nelson heard it and decided that they wanted to cut it. And it's a great story of two friends who love each other, and one of them betrayed the other one. And I think we all go through that in life with various friends, various relationships. And I think that that's the overall symbolism of this song. The only thing that would improve this song is if I was drawing the royalty checks off of it, because it is an awesome, awesome song. I love singing this at the truck shows with my buddy Paul Marhofer, because it's good when you got two people singing it, and Paul does an outstanding, incredible job on it. Living on the road, my friend, it's gonna keep you free and clean. But now you wear your skin like iron, your breath as hard as kerosene. Weren't your mama's only boy, but her favorite one seemed. And she began to cry when you said goodbye. It sank into your dreams. Pancho was a bandit boy, his horse as fast as polished steel. He wore his gun outside his pants for all the honest world to feel. But Pancho met his match, you know, on the deserts down in Mexico. Nobody heard his dying word, but that's the way it goes. Well, all the federales say we could have had him any day. We only let him slip away out of kindness, I suppose. Lefty, he can't sing the blues all night long like he used to. The dust that Pancho bit down south ended up in Lefty's mouth. But Deli laid poor Pancho low, where Lefty split for Ohio, where he got the bread to go. Nobody knows. Well, all the federales say we could have had him any day. We only let him slip away out of kindness, I suppose. Boys tell how Pancho felt, Lefty's living in a cheap hotel. The desert's quiet, Cleveland's cold, and so the story ends, we're told. But Pancho needs your prayers, it's true, and save a few for Lefty too. He only did what he had to do. He's growing old. Well, all the federales say we could have had him any day. We only let him go so long. A few gray federales say we could have had him any day. We only let him slip away out of kindness, I suppose. Great old Townes Van Zandt classic there that's redone by Emmylou Harris and Merle and Willie, and we were both great influences on me, and what an honor that must have been for Townes Van Zandt to have them do that song, and Emmylou Harris, one of the greatest female artists ever. And she's not one you want to say anything bad about around my wife, because Carol Ann is a Emmylou Harris nut. Loves her and sings all of her songs, and I think Carol Ann's a better singer, but not picking on you, Emmylou. I just love my wife, and she's got a beautiful voice. We'll do one, every time I think about singing with Paul Marhoefer, I want to do this song. Another old Willie song. Well, it's been rough and rocky traveling, but I'm finally standing upright on the ground. After taking several readings, I'm surprised to find my mind still fairly sound. I thought Nashville was the roughest, but I know I said the same about them all. We received our education in the cities of the nation, me and Paul. Almost busted in Laredo, but for reasons that I'd rather not disclose. If you're staying in a hotel there and you leave, just don't leave nothing in your clothes. And at the airport in Milwaukee, they refused to let us board the plane at all. They said we look suspicious, but I believe they like to pick on me and Paul. And on a package show in Buffalo, with us and Kitty Wells and Charlie Pride. The show was long and we was just sitting there, and we came to play and not just for the ride. Well, we drank a lot of whiskey. I don't know if we went on that night at all, but I guess it doesn't matter. I guess Buffalo just ain't geared for me and Paul. Well, it's been rough and rocky traveling, but I'm finally standing upright on the ground. After taking several readings, I'm surprised to find my mind still fairly sound. I thought Nashville was the roughest, but I know I've said the same about them all. We received our education in the cities of the nation, me and Paul. Little old Willie Nelson classic back in the 70s. What a great old song. And of course, that was back in the renegade days of country music. And that's when Waylon and Willie and all of them were really in the outlaw movement. A lot of people don't realize this, but a lot of the great changes that have happened in music is because of Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, Tom Paul Glaser, Jesse Coulter. They come up with the album, The Outlaws, the LP album, and that is the first time ever they private labeled it, because nobody would produce it and put it out, because they were doing it not under a major label's direction. They got it cut and pressed in a little studio in Nashville, and as it turns out, it was the very first long play album that had sold over 1 million copies, and that's what started the outlaw music movement, and that's actually still going today. All the Red Dirt Texas music. And, excuse me, guys, I had to grab a little bit more coffee there. Fill up my cup, y'all. But those guys were a major influence on the music we hear today. And as much as we don't like the way country is transgressed, it's music. It's a constantly evolving change, and although we may not like it, it's what it is. It's what people are listening to and what they want to buy. And I'm starting to hear country music come a little bit more back toward its roots now, and I'm proud of that. So I just always say, if you like a musician, support them. You know, it's because we're not going to like all the same people. There's going to be a whole lot of people that's not going to like me. I don't take offense at that, because it's just it's what it is. And they might like a lot of artists that I don't.